I have to tell you, this is like one of my most exciting topics. And when you really start to understand the idea of detoxing and you understand that it is so important when it comes to decreasing your child's inflammation, then you start to understand this whole game and you start to go, wait a minute, I can take control over this ADHD. Yeah, it doesn't have to have control over me and my family. All right, so detox. Why is detoxing so important when we talk about an ADHD child and decreasing their inflammation? Well, it's because when we detox the body of all the stuff that's currently in their cells and sitting in their brain, that we decrease inflammation. When we decrease inflammation, we get a calmer child. Ha, ding, 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 ding. That's awesome. So, but I've just made it sound really fun, but detoxing kind of sucks because it is a process where it is very uncomfortable. So let me give you a quick tutorial on what detoxing would look like to us so you can have a little bit of an idea of it. So I want you to bring yourself back to your college days and you went out and you had some drinks with your friends and it's the next day and your biggest problem on your mind is if you're gonna make it to the cafeteria on time before it closes, and so you go, and that's great because you feel so lousy. And when we feel lousy, it's because we are eliminating all the toxins from the night before. It's a hangover. So we wake up and immediately the body's like, I gotta get rid of all this poison inside me. So it starts detoxing and we feel horrible because what went in is now gonna go through all the circulatory system. It's gonna go through our brain. We're gonna feel yucky. We're gonna feel tired because it's exhausting for our body to do this. We might finally make it to the calf. We might then say, wow, I really want some fresh fruit or a salad. No, we don't want that. What we want is something that's actually gonna help us stop the elimination. We don't realize that's why we're choosing a greasy cheeseburger, but that is, or French fries or a bagel. That's why we choose those foods, because when we choose those foods, the elimination has to stop. Our body's like, oh wait, what'd she do? She just ate something. I gotta stop eliminating and I'm gonna work on the food that we just ate. I gotta digest all of that. Wow, this is exhausting because I'm filled with all these toxins. I'm trying to eliminate it and now I've gotta digest a cheeseburger. Whew, I need a nap. So we take a nap, maybe for an hour, maybe for 2 hours. When we wake up, we feel a little better. And then very slowly, we get back on our feet, but we still kind of feel yucky. And then we realize we actually feel worse than we did an hour ago. Like, what is happening? Well, what is happening is that your body is still trying to eliminate all the alcohol that you had from the night before. And it's gonna take some time. So now look at your child. So they're not drunk per se, but what's happening is they're in such a healing crisis that they are intoxicated. And they've been intoxicated through the years with the way that their gut is handling their food. When they test ADHDers and they look at kids on the spectrum, more than 95% of them have leaky gut. So we're gonna go with that assumption. This is why so many kids have the constipation and the gut issues. So if you already know that your child has a gut issue, which if you don't think they do, they do. When you look at their diet, they do. When they have to have all of their pasta and their pizza and their ice cream and their peanut butter and jelly on whole wheat bread, and they have to have it, they have to have all these things because they are trying to detox every single day. And every single day, as their body surges and goes to eliminate all this, your child is very uncomfortable because when we detox that, it goes right back through the circulatory system, all our blood goes through our brain. We feel horrible. And you know what helps us stop it? Eating again. So just like we did in college when we had the cheeseburger and it stopped the detox of the alcohol, if your child can just have a big slice of pizza or some chicken nuggets or some French fries or this or that, it stops their elimination. They don't know they're trying to stop an elimination, but that's what they're doing. And that's why when you take a child, for instance, off sugar and these other sugar items, it really hurts over the first several days because what happens is you freed up their system so much to start eliminating that, first of all, they want to stop that feeling because it's uncomfortable, right? They might get even more jittery. They might be even louder. They might have more behaviors that they had normally. My child, when I removed all the triggers from two of my children, all the behaviors that they had were exacerbated like you can't believe. There's a yeast die-off. It's really, really interesting to watch. By interesting, I mean it's kind of crappy. And your child feels horrible. And if you do this yourself, this is why they'll say by like day 7, 8, or 9, you feel like you have the flu because your body is finally getting the chance to free up and eliminate all that stuff it's been holding on to for months or years. This is why when you put your child on a detox program, don't be surprised if by day 7, you're like they have a cold and they're totally congested, or you're like they have diarrhea because they're finally getting a chance to free everything up. So that's what we mean by detox. So it's not a bad thing, it's an important thing. You never want to do it too hard and too fast, but when you really do it and you stick with it, this is why you will have parents after a while, when they can fully detox their child, go, oh my gosh, they're sleeping better. Oh my gosh, and then they stay on it for weeks, this same healthy diet, and they're like, they don't have that maniacal look in their eyes. Sometimes it takes only 4 or 5 days to see the first piece of evidence. My kids get the idea of detoxing. And when you really start to understand the idea of detoxing and you understand that it is so important when it comes to decreasing your child's inflammation, then you start to understand this whole game. And you start to go, wait a minute, I can take control over this ADHD. It doesn't have to have control over me and my family. So that's detox, guys. That's detox. You can do this.